FSI Italian. Preliminary Unit A. What is Italian? A language has been referred to as organized noise. The sounds that one hears in a given language are organized. They form a system. In some languages, you may frequently hear certain types of sounds not normally heard in other languages. Listen to the following English word, which we will call word A. Tick, tick. None of the sounds you just heard in word A are normally heard in Italian. Listen again. Tick, tick. Listen to the following English word, which we will call word B. Tip, tip. Frame 5. Would you say that the first sound heard in word B is normally heard in Italian? Listen again. Tip, tip. The answer is no. Here is another English word, word C. Listen. Hurt, hurt. None of the sounds you just heard in word C are normally heard in Italian. Listen again. Hurt, hurt. Listen to the following English word, word D. Her, her. Frame 9. Would you say that any of the sounds heard in word D are normally heard in Italian? Listen again. Her, her. The answer is no. Frame 10. In learning Italian, will you have to try to avoid making certain sounds? The answer is yes. In studying a foreign language, you will often find that some sounds familiar to you in English or some other language that you know will appear in unfamiliar positions in Italian words. For instance, here is an English word, word E. Listen. So, so. Word E begins with a type of sound that we will call for the time being the S sound. Listen to the following English word, word F. Low, low. Word F begins with a sound type that we will call, for the time being, the L sound. Sounds that are very similar, if not identical, to the S sound and L sound exist in Italian. In English, many words begin with the S sound followed by the L sound. For example, the words slow, sleep, play, fly. An Italian who does not speak English, however, is likely to imitate these four English words as follows. Slow, sleep, slay, sly. Frame 19. Is the Italian pronouncing these words with an initial S sound followed by an L sound? Listen again. Slow, sleep, slay, sly. The answer is no. Whereas it is normal in English to begin words with the S sound followed by the L sound, this is not normal in Italian. Frame 21. Would you say that the Italian combination that replaces the English is normal at the beginning of words in English? Listen again to the Italian pronunciation. Slow, sleep, slay, sly. The answer is no. Frame 22. Does the S sound, or something very similar to it, exist at all in Italian? The answer is yes. Frame 23. Does the L sound, or something very similar to it, exist at all in Italian? The answer is yes. Frame 24. Would you say that the S sound, followed by the L sound, normally occurs at the beginning of words in Italian? The answer is no. Frame 25. In learning Italian, will you sometimes have to try to avoid making certain sound combinations? The answer is yes. Frame 26. In learning Italian, will you sometimes have to make certain sounds and sound combinations that are not normal for English? The answer is yes. The sound system of a language is called its phonology. One may wish to study the phonology of a language, just as one may wish to study the vocabulary of a language, that is, the words that exist in a given language. Frame 29. Complete the following statement. Two areas of study of a language might be, and the answers are phonology, vocabulary. A third area of study of a language might consist of the way in which words come together to form phrases and sentences. This area is called the grammar of a language. Frame 31. Complete the following statement. The speech of a given community may be analyzed in terms of phonology, vocabulary, and the answer is grammar. When two speech communities share basic features of phonology, vocabulary, and grammar, we say that the speech types of the two communities are related. Another term for related speech types is dialects. In this sense, then, with reference to the United States, one may speak of the Chicago dialect of American English, the metropolitan New York dialect of American English, etc. On a larger scale, one may also speak of British English and American English as being two dialects of English. Frame 35. Would you call a type of speech that is characteristic of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a dialect of American English? The answer is yes. Frame 36. And a type of speech that is characteristic of Boston, Massachusetts? The answer is yes. Frame 37. And a type of speech that is characteristic of Charleston, South Carolina? The answer is yes. In Italy, the geographical area we are here concerned with, there exist many related speech types that have developed from one common stock, traditionally called vulgar Latin. The term vulgar Latin refers to a popular or colloquial form of Latin spoken at the time of the Roman Empire. The related speech types existing in Italy are so varied that a Venetian and a Roman, a Tuscan and a Sicilian, or any two speakers of different regional dialects often cannot understand each other if each speaks his own dialect. In a sense, the situation is similar to one in which a London Cockney, a Maine farmer, and a Scottish shepherd might try to communicate with one another. They would find it very difficult to communicate if each used his own individual brand of English. Because dialects like Venetian, Roman, Milanese, and Neapolitan are spoken in the geographical area called Italy, and because of the basic relationship between them, linguists refer to them as Italian, whether they are considering them as individual dialects or as a whole. Thus, the term Italian may refer to many different dialects, individually considered, or to the sum total of all such dialects. The linguistic distinction between a language and a dialect may be compared to the distinction that exists in spectrology between a so-called primary color and a shade. The concept red, for example, embraces many shades, such as rose, ruby, and scarlet, but all may be referred to as red, the cover-all term for this group of closely related color types. As a primary color represents a set of color shades, each of which may be referred to by the name of the primary color, so a language, then, represents a set of dialects, each of which may be referred to by the name of the language. If a color shade, such as scarlet or rose, is one form of a primary color, such as red, a dialect, such as Florentine or Neapolitan, is one form of